to score in the second half. And I think the message from both coaches will be to look for an improvement in attack. I don't think either side have really threatened that much. They don't seem to have had any cohesion when moving the ball around, and you know, one or two loose offloads, one which of course led eventually to the second Salford try.
So John Wiltshire will get the second half underway for this Salford side. Of course, Widnes bringing in players this week, throwing them straight into the mix. Tyra, Matty Smith. It's not easy, is it, to then expect that formula to gel straight away?
It isn't, no, and that's probably been a problem for them, but some good go forward, quick play the balls, and instinctive for players at this level, they know what to do.
I think what the Widnes club are looking for is for those players to lift what's already here. Stephen Tyra's come up with a couple of great defensive efforts. Matty Smith's contribution in his kicking game has been outstanding. So I don't necessarily think that the lack of cohesion or the lack of understanding between players has been a problem. I think their intensity, or the Widnes performance's intensity, needs to lift.
Well, Salford in possession now from the deep kick from Widnes, and a good chase, and Morrison is again there to make the big hit. He picked up a bloodied nose earlier in the game, but he's back out there now, Morrison. Don't forget that Widnes still down to 12. Richard Fletcher in the sin bin. So Morrison, a handy player to have back on the field, but then they are penalised.
Well, this was a problem for Widnes in the first half. Christine involved here with some interference. He said hands in the ruck area from the referee.
Well, he's been consistent.
Possibly Paul Noon, isn't it, maybe, whose left hand was involved on the ball. Richard Fletcher looks on from the sideline. Probably, what, about 7 minutes still remaining that he has to sit and wait pensively, hoping that his teammates can prevent another Salford score.
Richard Fletcher, a Scottish international, and would ordinarily be a cert for their World Cup campaign, but he's getting married in October, and that is a date he's not willing to change. So his World Cup involvement is highly unlikely, unless the honeymoon's going to take place down under as well.
I wonder how many blokes would swap a game of rugby to get married. I'm not sure whether I'd have turned up if I'd have known what I know now.
It's Salford on the charge with Adam Sidlow. Are you going home tonight?
She'll be asleep when I get home.
Salford play the ball. Myler thought he sensed an opportunity. Stapleton went without it, and yet another handling error. And Craig Stapleton, well, he's hiding behind that pillar in embarrassment.
Well, Salford know they've not been at the best here tonight, but they've been good enough at this stage to build up a significant lead. It's Widnes who are clinging on, whilst they're a man short and they're 12 points behind. They're just in a little bit of a survival mode, but they have to get away from the line and find the speed around that play the ball area, which helps set up that first break.
Salford, of course, through to the Northern Rail Cup final, when they'll face second division Doncaster in Blackpool next month, July the 6th. And Salford's website actually is worth seeing, because they've done a very good front page with a saucy seaside postcard advertising their trip to Blackpool. But their concentration now is on points at the top of the National League One table. They're on course for them at the moment. And Matty Smith puts the kick downfield. And Fitzpatrick hoping that that one will eventually go dead. It does. Of course, we talk about Widnes wiping out this 9-point deficit and hoping to climb up the table, but their consideration now must be relegation, because they're second from bottom. And okay, it's still unclear as to what is going to be decided in that respect, but you just want to be away from that part of the table, don't you?
Well, Widnes certainly do. If you look at the prospectus they've recently drawn up in conjunction with their Super League licence application, the front cover says they dare to dream. They're dreaming, hopefully, of a move upwards in divisions and not certainly one down.
Sidlow. Good work from the big man, and he manages to get to his feet and offload that ball. Taken on by Adamson. 4 tackles gone. Myler hoists a high kick, putting Gaskell under pressure, and Gaskell was there, as was Tyra. It's Gaskell who took it.
I think Gaskell and Dodd have looked like two Widnes' most dangerous players. Not only are they beating men and strong in the tackle, but they're finding a quick play of the ball, and that's an excellent catch. Robbie Paul just watching as the ball was taken there. But Widnes here look flat now. They need to try and get a slight... If they can get half a second quicker in the play of the ball, it will make so much difference to their play.
Well, that's good defence from Salford, trying to drive Chris Dean towards the touchline. Didn't manage to do so. Morrison bounces off the first hit and comes back for more. Bezic. It was a Bezic run that really launched the only moment of Widnes threat in this game. But on the last, now then, Matty Smith. A hanging kick. But Paul White, plenty of time underneath that, and they don't want to allow Paul White too much time underneath the kick, because we've seen what he can do on Sky Sports on National League One coverage. Now then, I think Kirkpatrick lost that one. Fitzpatrick, beg your pardon, Carl.
Release Bob! 3, wait, go.
You're right about the wingers though, Phil. They're very important in rugby league these days. That fella, he needs to get forward, but in order to allow him to do that, that first carry needs to be strong. The bloke that catches it, regathers it, he needs to get on the front foot.
On the last, and Myler kicks for the corner, and that's a good kick. That's a great kick, and Hardman is going to have to retrieve that one. What a kick from Myler that was.
Well, there's the difference here. Ian Hardman's desperate for this ball to go over the back line. It's the dead ball line in rugby league, or the dead in goal. Either way, he's happy if it went out of play. Now then, that ball touches the line. I think it should be a tap from that angle on the 20-metre line. Widnes should be in possession. The referee doesn't get a second look at it. That's what Widnes are asking. Here's your look. The part of the ball touching the white line means it's out of play. Can't quite see with the camber of this pitch.
If you were being harsh, you'd say he had another half a second to let it roll, but it's a difficult job again. Full-back and wingers, they've got so many decisions to make, and they're crucial.
Sidlow, and that was a high shot on Sidlow from Ben Kavanagh, I think it was.
17, you're around his neck. Whoa. Whistle's gone, I'm dealing with it, all right.
Well, it's a massive decision here now. There's the high tackle, clearly arm around the neck from Kavanagh. Salford are electing to kick at goal.
They're just happy to let that clock keep ticking over, aren't they? Ben Kavanagh, who comes up with a high shot. It is a high shot, no question about that. The question for me is, as a Salford player and the other Salford team, keep the pressure on, keep piling the pressure on, keep ball in hand. Or do they go for goal? And they've answered that.
Well, they're just shutting Widnes out of the game, though, aren't they? Putting a few more points on, well, a couple more points on the board, John Wilshere hopes.
John, we've got to speed them up, mate.
Eating up more time, getting the ball back from the restart, putting more pressure on.
Just keep that scoreboard ticking over, and Phil's pointed it out already. The speed of the play of the ball from Widnes is so important.
Wilshere, has he got this one on target? He hasn't. He's missed again. Just 2 successes from 6 for John Wilshere tonight.
In the words of Phil Collins.
Well, did he
missed again?
Ah, right, I thought 2 successes from 6. I was trying to think, did he write a song called 2 Successes from 6?
Downside.
I wouldn't have put it past him.
Oh, what a catch.
Sidlow it was. The crowd saying he knocked that one on.
Oh, he took it on the half volley. Great control.
And then that was forward.
Well, Widnes needs some help here today, and the supporters perhaps provided they put a bit of pressure on the officials. They'll do anything here to keep their hopes alive tonight. I don't think it's a forward pass. I think it's great running on the advantage line. Yeah, then, was it a knock on?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they missed that one. 1 out of 2 ain't bad.
Who sang that?
Get square at the ruck area. Don't be pointing that way. Get square when you play it. Put it in.
So head and feet to Widnes Vikings on the halfway line. Is Tyra.
Now leave him.
Meatloaf it was.
Hold. Go.
Plays the ball again on the halfway line. Adel Fallouz, this big French international, had a loan spell at Hull FC as well this season. Bezic, and that's a wild pass, has gone backwards. Work for Stephen Roper to do. Gannon trying to fire this Widnes Viking side up. They do need something, don't they? They look very flat.
Do you know, one thing we haven't taken into account is Mark Smith. He's unavailable, he's got an arm injury, and Bob Bezic prefers the hooking role. I think he's a great hooker, but he hasn't played there for a month or two, or just in recent weeks, so it does take time for that position, that pivotal key position, to fall in line with what the structure of the team is.
Smith hoists the kick, but Gardner, time to gather the ball before the Widnes chasers can get there. And Salford now trying to work this ball away from their own try line.
They were trying to drag Gardner over the sideline. They know they need to come up with a big play. Widnes need possession in about this part of the field, closer to Salford's line. The last 10 minutes they've been starved of an opportunity to attack, and basically, Rubley, you have to invade your opponent's territory, and whilst in their territory, score some points.
Richard Fletcher is back out there, and in fact involved in the tackle. There he is, Fletcher. So back out of the sin bin. But they conceded the try while he was in the bin. And now Widnes with a bit of work to do to try and close this gap. 16-4. They trail. Hardman.
Gavin Dodd took the ball on the 30-metre line, passed it back 10 metres, only for Hardman to be tackled back on the 30-metre line. Now the two play the balls have already been used up out of a possible 6, and they're still on and about the 30-metre mark.
So they are struggling. Adel Falous using brute force to try and make him a few yards. Well, they've almost reached the 40. That's 3 tackles gone. Gannon takes some putting down, but they managed to do that to the Salford City Reds. Bezic, Roper, Smith, back in field. That looked high. It wasn't, says the referee, but Gavin Dodd certainly felt it. It was Jason Walton with the tackle. Good hands from Fletcher, but Christine couldn't take that. It was Tyra who couldn't take it, I beg your pardon.
We'll have a look at that shot.
And then somebody has said something, and far from being awarded a penalty themselves, Widnes are marched back by referee Lawton.
Well, Widnes' decision to run the ball on the last play, probably a reflection of the fact that they're struggling to have an opportunity to attack. They spent too much time just in yardage, clearing their own half. They ran the ball, they didn't have the skill to execute that play, they lost possession. Now they've conceded a penalty here on Robbie Paul. Matthew Smith just stepping over Robbie Paul. That interference now gives Salford even more time in this part of the field.
And they decided against going for the 2 points that time. It probably was in kickable range, but that looked forward from Alker. It was, says the referee, and he'll bring him back. And this game has yet to hit the heights, you could say.
Salford will be pleased that the defence has been so strong tonight, so enthusiastic, that it's kept them in the game. On many other occasions, with such a dearth of possession, other teams would have put Salford to the sword.
And the coach exasperated by that. Well, Widnes have beaten Salford only twice in 12 meetings in the summer era, and it looks as though Steve McCormack's side have got a mighty job on their hands if they're going to try and improve on that record here tonight. The last home win against Salford was in September 2002 in Super League, when they edged it 15-14. 16-4 the scoreline in favour of Salford at the moment. Falous. But you sense that Widnes, all they need is a try on the board, and that is going to galvanise them. But there's little indication of them finding a way through this Salford defence just yet. And they're offside of Salford.
Well, that's the biggest possible help they could get. A penalty on the 4th play. Players offside, just setting off too early. And this is, in my memory, the first time that Widnes have been this close with 6 players up the sleeve.
So Fletcher takes the first tackle. Bezic organising things, little wave of the hands behind his back, and then he goes in the opposite direction. Roper, here's Patterson, and Patterson gets past the first tackle of Myler, but the reinforcements are there for Salford. Stephen Roper now takes the tackle. The Salford supporters massed behind their own players who are on their own try line. Fallouse. Alka is ever there to make the tackle for the Reds. Fallouse slowly to his feet to play the ball. They go down the short side, and they're over the try line, and it's Tyra who's got it down, or has he? He has, says the referee. And on his debut, and his lone spell, Stephen Tyra plonks that ball down. The first opportunity in the second half of the Widnes Vikings, and only the second opportunity in the entire game really for Widnes, and Tyra gives them hope.
Well, they got close to the line and they needed somebody to put the hand up and say, I'm going to get over it. Tyra does that. It's a classic play where he just gets on the outside of his opponent, shows enough to get around and score there. They needed somebody with a black jersey to get them some points, and Tyra gets round Walton relatively easily. And now he's just hoping that his teammates can find that second push here now. Having scored a try very often in Rugby League, a team lift and score again quickly after it. That's what the Widnes fans are hoping right now.
A try scorer against the Bulls last week, Stephen Tyra. Now a try scorer against the Reds. That's 6 all told for him this season. Now then, Fletcher just back out of the sin bin. If he can land this will be a great boost for the Vikings. He's missed it. Nevertheless, they're still in the hunt. Widnes 8, Salford 16, the scoreline here at the Stobart Stadium, and Steve McCormack breathes a sigh of relief.
And we wondered what kind of influence some St Helens players would use or would bring. I think this is a St Helens play. It's a short side play. They had acres of space to go to the left, but the two Saints players came to the blind side, as we call it, and it's Tyra who puts the ball down, getting Widnes back into this game.
And Jason Walton has been taken straight off and replaced by Jordan Turner. Don't know if that's anything to do with that try being scored.
Well, at this level, it was a very poor attempt, wasn't it, to prevent Tyra from scoring. He didn't have to do much other than run with some enthusiasm, crash through.
Well, Jim Gannon will always run with enthusiasm until there's no legs in contact with the ground. Bezic up to the halfway line, and the Widnes supporters in this big crowd here at the Stobart Stadium sensing that there is a chance for their side still. Roper puts the kick in. Fitzpatrick gains, regathers the ball, and then gains a few yards for his side until Roper makes the tackle on the follow-up.
Widnes can't afford to give a penalty away. They need to get both feet behind. They're asking for a knock-on, and they get it.
It's Matt Gardner who fumbled that ball in the tackle, but there was a hand in there, surely. No.
It's what Widnes needed. Having scored a try, they had to turn up the heat on their opponents, who look a little tired at this stage in the match. They're looking really at that clock. They wanted it to say 77 minutes, not 57 minutes.
Well, Roper. Gavin Dodd comes back infield, ducks under the tackle of Wilshire. An ooh from the Viking supporters. That was a little bit too high for their liking. Ronnie Lawton thought it was okay. Noon drives the ball in. Here is Roper. Matty Smith, Hardman, Tyra once more. Tyra, little flick out the back door. He's learned that from Matt Gidley, but sadly there wasn't enough room, and the coach knows that this is a crucial spell for his side.
Well, it didn't take long for Salford to strengthen this side of the field. The defence there with Littler, Paul and White, all three men keeping the hips square, facing downfield, couldn't be stepped easily. It just requires Widnes here now as the referee just stops the clock momentarily. Widnes have to put their effort and focus and intensity now into the defence again.
So Salford looking to bring this ball away. They've lost only 3 games all year of the Salford City Reds, to Oldham in the Northern Rail Cup qualifying rounds, to Wakefield in the Challenge Cup, and that defeat at Whitehaven. They've clung on to top spot in National League One despite the charge of Halifax, who are breathing down their necks. And they're on course for the points here, but there's still lots of work to be done in the final quarter to guarantee that.
Hands out!
Adamson
5! Hands out, Richard! Richard!
plays the ball on his own 40-metre line. Myler, but that kick ricochets off Noon, and it's gobbled up by Matty Smith.
That's a great indication that Widnes have some life and soul left in this game. Pressure on the kicker.
That's one, I think it played it on.
Robbie Paul under pressure as well, and coming away from it a bit gingerly.
2! Wait here, lads! Wait for it out!
He's got a bang on the shoulder by the look of things.
But that's the attitude of the rugby league player. Get back in the line, fill that gap.
3.
Stephen Nash took a knock to his shoulder. He was led from the field a moment or two ago, so it started to rise.
Oh, and then offside against Salford, and you'd think they'd know by now. That's the third occasion that Ron Lawton has marched them back a further 10, or marched one of these two sides back a further 10 for back chat.
And he's brought both captains towards him.
I'm not going to have this dissent. Players challenging the decisions. I'm just talking generally here. Both teams have done it. When I'm giving penalties, arms are going up in the air, right?
Bezic and Olka
sort it out between yourselves, or I will.
Getting a bit of a pep talk from the referee.
And that's spot on, Bill. I'm 100% behind that. Let's get rid of that out of our game.
Come on, onside, lads. Come on.
So,
what are you doing?
right in front of those posts.
Okay. Stay outside, go.
Widnes with the penalty, and Fletcher.
Did you see what Bob Bezic did then? He shouted to the referee, I'm tapping it. Shape to kick the ball.
It didn't fool
Motion
Salford.
to the sticks, no it didn't.
Hands out.
Smith is tackled. They're about 5 metres out, are they? Well, now they're back with Stephen Roper, and Roper loses ground. Duffy off the field, having a breather. Roper is on. Bezic puts the kick in. The chase is there, for God. The touch judge says no try. He was certain about that. Well, the touch judge, to be fair, was absolutely categorical, but the referee says we'll have another look at that with the video ref, Phil Bentham.
It's a great play and a wonderful kick. Just the fact that now this ground is harder. Here's the penalty decision. Making sure that all of the Salford players are back.
Motions to the sticks here. Tells the referee what is, and it's Bob Bezic again who puts the kick in. Everybody's onside, it's whether they're grounding. Oh, he's missed that. He's missed that.
And the touch judge was spot on, and no try is presumably the decision from the video ref, and Gavin Dodd just couldn't get there.
You never see a ball under kick, do you? If ever the ball's kicked in goal, if anything, it'll go too hard, too fast and too far. It's so difficult when you're running with the ball to kick it softly, almost putting a handbrake on it. You only want it to go 5 metres.
So let off for the Salford City Reds. They lead by 16 points to 8. The only points in this second half coming from the Widnes Vikings. That try from Stephen Tyra, signed on loan today. The deal really on a knife edge, but eventually sealed. Myler now plays the ball on the Widnes 40-metre line. Here is Sidlow. A couple of Vikings old boys involved in the action. Alka, very much a Salford old boy, and then Jordan Turner hoists that kick. It's a deep high one, but Hardman underneath that one. And then the penalty offside against the chasing Salford players.
Well, they ran through. See here now the ball goes back to Turner. Most of the players in front of him, he kicks it high. And those players have to allow Hardman 10 metres before they make the tackle.
I like that from Hardman. He didn't jump. It almost felt like his footwork was going to make him jump. He realised that there was no one near him. You don't need to jump. Don't have to catch that ball.
Adel Fallouz playing that ball. French international. Wonder if he'll be involved in John Money's squad for that game in Toulouse on June the 27th. Every likelihood he will be. The French squad going into camp early next week. Meanwhile, Widnes Vikings attacking this Salford line. That's good work from Patterson. Almost through. Adamson with the tackle. Bezic Matty Smith now. Smith again with a lovely, delicate kick. Tyra is chasing it. Tyra's got his second try of the game. Or has he? Oh no, another video ref decision.
What a kick from Matty Smith, hasn't his kick's been important? St Helens, they've come through the system, they know instinctively what each other expect. It's a lovely little kick, they look like they're onside to me.
He's onside, you know, you pay for quality, you pay for class. Tyra's brought that here to the Halton Stadium.
That's outstanding, that.
He just nudged it on. Paul White was unable to get there. Tyra was, and what an impact he's having for the Widnes Vikings. Signed on loan today. It's taken him some time, but 2 second-half tries from Stephen Tyra have transformed this game. And you know, he's going to try and transform it even further now by converting his own try, at least he hopes to do. Wilshire having an off day with the boot. Just 2 successes from 6 attempts. I beg your pardon, it was Fletcher who's been doing the kicking. And Tyra with his first attempt. Well, if he lands this, then we really have got a game on our hands. He's succeeded, and Stephen Tyra has really set this game on edge now. Widnes Vikings 14, Salford City Reds 16, and the Vikings are on the march.
Well, the Vikings have all the momentum in this game, as we see the kick, the perfect height of the kick and the timing of the run made that a wonderful try to see. But the fact that the 3 penalties prior to this have all gone in favour of Widnes is the reason why the momentum is behind the home side, and Salford have some real concerns here. There's nothing that White can do. He gets high in the air. He's outmanoeuvred.
From the restarts, Fallouse with a thundering charge for the Widnes Vikings. Bezic tackled on the Vikings 30-metre line. Here's Jim Gannon now. Wilshire and Bannister with the tackling. And Fallouse again. Now then, Smith, Roper, they've got men out wide. Oh, has he got it back? He did. Jason Crooks managed to juggle that behind his head, but if he'd taken it cleanly, well, there was all sorts of possibilities on there for the Widnes Vikings.
I think sometimes rugby players are tempted to get the ball to the winger as quick as they can. If they just use the hands, then I think that'd have been a far simpler option.
Now here come the Salford City Reds, looking to respond to that salvo of Vikings points, and a problem for Bannister, I think it is, struggling to get to his feet. Myler, Fletcher, little hand in there, that'll be a knock-on.
Knock-on, played at it.
And Salford will be happy because they haven't seen a lot of the ball in the last 20 minutes. Fletcher throws that right hand out. It's very hard to intercept with one hand thrown at the ball. Referee just stops the clock as Stephen Bannister receives some treatment from the physiotherapist.
Bannister is struggling, and he's not the only Salford player with a problem by all accounts.
Boys, I think it's his right foot just goes underneath him.
Well, Bannister not the only one with the injury problems. There are others for the Reds. Let's check that with Rod Studd.
Yeah, Bill, Robbie Paul's just come off. He's had a bit of ice put on that neck injury. You mentioned that he hadn't trained earlier during the week. Just a bit of ice on that. I think he'd be okay to come back on if absolutely necessary, but he's just been withdrawn from the fray for a breather. Same applies to John Duffy from Widnes. No problem for him. He's just having a rest as well, and he's probably earned it.
And problems for Bannister.
I'm all right, he says.
I think he's going to continue.
Lock him in. Stay back. Come on. Up with your loose forward. No, up with him. Get up with him.
It's been a tough... Hasn't been the prettiest of games. It's certainly been a tough game.
Okay, leave him.
Littler. Salford now. Can they see off this Vikings uprising? Ratchford with his dummy runner and Heighton, but then Alker finds Myler. Jordan Turner. Jason Crooks all over him to make the tackle. Sidlow does well to get away from the first man, then Fitzpatrick for Ratchford. Ratchford, lovely mazy run from Ratchford until he's collared by Fletcher. And the penalty again, hands in then I think from Fletcher. And will they go for two this time?
And Ratchford, very dangerous play when he gets close to the opponent's line. And you got the men. The penalty here now, we say. The last three went in favour, interference really on Ratchford in attempting to get up and play the ball. And the penalty now to Salford.
We've had them all night, haven't we? Interference at the play of the ball. Both teams trying to slow one another down. You always run the risk that you can either win a penalty or have one scored against you or given against you.
On your line! On your line!
And Wilshere.
Stand back on.
Now he has had a bad night with the boot, but this would improve his kicking stats. Just about bang in front of the post. It's a gentle stroke of the ball. And edges Salford 18-14 ahead, but they're not home and dry yet.
I think Widnes will be delighted that Salford elected to kick a goal. If they had scored a converted try, I think that the hopes for the Widnes side would have been over tonight. But still 4 points behind, 10 minutes or so to go. We're still in with this and we're in for another Thursday night treat.
Sidlow from on his own try line, and look at that posse of Vikings defenders there to greet him, just lined up, and Sidlow is stopped in his tracks. Now Paul Heighton celebrating his testimonial year for the Salford City Reds. Turner did well there, made some good progress for the Reds.
Does that so often, Turner picks that great line behind the ruck, really challenging the defensive line.
Heighton again will play the ball, and then Olka puts the kick in, and that's behind Dodd. Hardman comes across, the ball sits up nicely for him. Hardman trying to evade them all, but Olka is there. It was his kick, it's his tackle. Dodd, head down, running into the tackle from Heighton. And now Dean Gaskell, haven't seen a lot of him in this second half. Bezic coming up to 10 minutes to go, and Widnes need to get that ball down the other end of the field, put a bit of pressure on this Salford defence. This is where Salford want to be playing the game.
And this is where you want to see all the guys with the black jerseys sprinting their fastest here now to chase this kick. Put some pressure on the Widnes, the Salford back three, who've got the job of getting hold of the ball and getting as far from their own line as possible.
Fitzpatrick gets away from the first tackle from Maddie Smith, but Tyra and Bannister there. Oh, and then a problem for Stephen Tyra. He's hobbled away from that tackle. I think it was just a bang. Don't worry, Saints. Tyra, big impact in this second half. Those two tries and a conversion as well have really given Widnes some hope. Sidlow, though, that's good work again from him, and Olka trying to step his way through the bodies up to the halfway line. Ratchford and Jordan Turner just tried to fool them with a little dummy kick, but Patterson was having none of that. Myler on the last, drills the kick downfield. He was under pressure, and again Hardman is there. It's a good chase from Salford. Myler leading the way, and Hardman across the field. Good work from the fullback. He's had a solid game for this Widnes side. Gavin Dodd now. Dodd, though, he's lost ground, and Littler almost had him and was going to fling him over his own try line.
Well, Salford have done some awful things when they've had the ball tonight, but when they've not, their defence has been first class. The last two occasions Widnes have collected possession, it's been 5 metres from the line, and Salford's focus and effort in defence has been sufficient to contain any real threat from the Vikings.
Patterson, nice ball back in field, and that's a great pass to Chris Dean. Dean has got support outside him, and the support is from Roper. Jason Crooks it is. It's Jason Crooks who'll get the try. What a breakout from this Widnes Viking side. And Jason Crooks, another of their lone players. He's borrowed from that was, and concern on the face of the Salford City Reds now, because the scores are level. But what a break it was from Chris Dean.
It's taken a while for Widnes to show what class they have, but that's wonderful play. I think the Salford tiring defence for 4 tackles was up to it, but then just a one break in concentration. The fact that Widnes found the man in support with Jason Crooks, and I was surprised that he had the pace there then to outflank any of the Salford cover. The wonderful ball back inside from Patterson onto Christine, maintains his composure, draws the fullback and releases Crooks with a run to the line, which should now, with a kick, put the home team ahead for the first time in a long time.
Since the opening minutes of the game when they kicked that penalty. Well, Jason Crooks is on loan from the Bradford Bulls, and another very talented young player, great potential, an England Academy international. And here's another talented young player, Tyra, with a conversion attempt. 20 points to 18, and listen to this crowd at the Stobart Stadium now. The players have battled their way back.
The players at the end of the ball scoring the tries have been the players that are in on loan. But just look at this inside pass from Patterson, and you're right, it's Chris Dean who shows a lot of maturity, waits till the very last second, and Steve Crooks shows that pace, gets the ball down.
I bet Steve Crooks wishes he did have that pace. 18 years old, Jason Crooks, and you know, he survived a very nasty road accident earlier this year.
Jason Crooks, I should say.
Do you think Steve Crooks ever did have that pace?
I think that looks like Steve Crooks, and had he scored a try, I bet it would have looked just like that, Bill. Only in black and white.
Well, Widnes have turned this game around. 16-4 down at the interval, and now they lead by 20 points to 18, and Steve McCormack's expression doesn't appear to have changed.
I think he's exhausted. Seen his side go from impossible offloads with the ball to such quality, and he knows that this game's still in the balance.
Inside will be bubbling, and he would love nothing better than to inflict this victory on his former club.
But it's looked like a defensive mindset, probably from the start of the second half from Salford. Perhaps an element of fatigue in the play, conservative run, but now they have to attack and chase this game.
And look at the endeavour on the face of Stapleton. Really is so fired up.
Endeavour's a word and aggression's another. That's what he had when he ran that ball in, as he does every time. Great player, Craig Stapleton.
Problems in back play. Fletcher is out of action at the moment, and Fletcher looks as though he's going to be out of action for some time in back play, and that means that Widnes are light on numbers at the moment in defence. Fletcher being helped from the field. They need to get somebody on quickly. It looks as though Paul Noon will return on the last now. Myler, cross-field kick, that's too deep, is it? Gaskell is, oh, well taken, Dean Gaskell, goalkeeper style. What a catch that was.
Well, Stephen Tyra made a great catch earlier to score a try. This is one that saves a threat.
And don't underestimate the job that Noon did. He escorted and obstructed legally the player that was trying to put pressure on Dean Gaskell.
Robbie Paul is back on. Can Robbie work his magic and snatch this game from the fire for the Salford City Reds at the moment that they're on course, running their second defeat in National League One this season? And this will really be great news for Halifax in second place, watching this one, and they've got Whitehaven to come this weekend. Halifax signing Mark Flanagan ahead of this game, so plenty of transfer activity in the National Leagues this week. Flanagan going from Wigan to Halifax, so imagine he'll be involved on Sunday.
Joe Walsh, the former Leeds, Bradford, London Broncos player, he's joined them as well. Some real quality at Halifax these days.
And they are just waiting to capitalise on any slips made by Salford, and Salford are heading for a slip here tonight. They've never been convincing though, even when they were ahead by 16 points to 4. Ratchford, little kick, into the corner, but Gaskell is there. And then the chasers, Ratchford among them, and Ratchford gets a hold of him.
Well, if you were critical of Salford, you say that they've left it too long to find this sort of intensity and pace in the game. If they had this now, why not maybe 5 and 10 minutes ago when they had a more significant lead?
The back three have been superb for Widnes. Gavin Dodd about to pick the ball up. Dean Gaskell and Ia Hardman, they've done the hard work in this first quarter. They've worked incredibly hard to get the team in a good position to put that kick in.
Well, Widnes in possession. They've got just over 3 minutes to go, and the ball has come up for Salford, has it? It has.
Well, it's almost like sacking the quarterback in American football. Myler has trapped Smith in possession on the last tackle. It was a poor pass from the acting halfback area, put Smith under pressure, and Myler sensed an opportunity here to get possession rather than in his own half, close to Widnes' line.
So Salford running out of time, just 2 points behind. Myler throws a deep pass, it's to Adamson. Adamson then finds Littler, and White's gone without it, and Widnes gratefully picked that ball up. It's Tyra who gathers possession. And it's going to be, in fact, referee Ron Lawton will award head and feed to the Widnes Vikings. Sense before the game that Salford were a bit concerned about this one going into such a big game after the battering they took at Celtic, but there can't be any excuses here tonight. Well, a big crowd here tonight, a record crowd in the National Leagues, 8,189, a magnificent attendance here at the Stobart Stadium. I wouldn't say they've been richly entertained, but it has been a nerve-wracking, a nerve-jangling game that's built to a really exciting climax, and it's not settled yet.
Well, you send your fans home happy if they've won. It's not quite over yet. The Widnes side here now need to get greater distance here, get downfield. Make sure that they're tight in the middle of the field if Fitzpatrick gets the ball on the kick return.
Morrison, the crowd like that, they like the guts that Ian Morrison always displays. Noon, similarly, big strong run from him. That's the 5th tackle, needs to be a good kick from Matty Smith. Over the head of Fitzpatrick, it's not, it's straight into the arms of the full-back, and a platform for Salford now. They've got to work their way upfield, and they're into the last couple of minutes of this game. They trail by 20 points to 18. Salford giving it some air, but Littler running out of room, and it's Tyra in the tackle again. What a debut he's had. It's taken him a bit of time, not surprisingly, when you're thrown in at just a few hours' notice to find his feet in this side, but he certainly has in the second half. Turner plays the ball. Wilshire. Can the vastly experienced PNG international spark something for his side? Ratchford, the 2 young guns, and then Ratchford puts the kick in. They're chasing this one. Oh, and well done Gaskell for fielding that ball. Coolness personified. Oh, very nearly a nice piece of work from Stefan Ratchford. He almost nicked that ball out of the hands of Gaskell. If that had come off, it would have been worthy of the Artful Dodger.
What an amazing and dramatic finale to this game. You see Gaskell, who's had good hands, here has it flicked from him. It goes backwards to the delight and relief of the Widnes supporters. And now with just over half a minute to go, can they keep hold of possession? Dodd breaking through a couple of tackles.
Sean McRae, puff of the cheeks. A gruelling night all round. Well, Widnes just 1 win in their last 5 in League and Cup.
He's stolen the ball.
The ball has come up for Turner.
But there've been 2 men in the tackle prior to Alker coming free. Oh, this is drama. It's high. Look, Alker's already been involved in the tackle. It can't be a one-on-one strip.
Well, play continues. Wilshire. Noon with the tackle on him. The hooter sounds. That's the last play of the ball. Noon pounces on it in delight, and Widnes celebrate a remarkable comeback. After losing the last 3 games and conceding 124 points, the Vikings, trailing 16 points to 4 at half-time, have turned it round to beat the National League One leaders 20 points to 18. It was unthinkable at half-time. They were so far out of this game. They've turned it on their heads.
Well, don't forget that for the first 8 minutes of the second half, they played with only 12 men. Fletcher already in the sin bin. But I think there were so many signs from Salford that they were feeling sorry for themselves. They were a little tired going into the game, and they didn't demonstrate the desire or commitment to go on and win it.
Do you think that was indicated by their willingness just to kick for 2 points whenever they had the opportunity? It sent out the wrong signal.
It looks easy in hindsight, and obviously we're not aware of the team's goals or how they were feeling at that time. But I just think that in front of the post, with the lead they had, kicking for 2 points, just indicated that they were hoping and waiting to hear the final hooter.
Back-to-back away defeats in National League One for the Salford City Reds. This competition is really tough indeed, and Halifax will be waiting to take over the leadership. They'll get a bonus point, will Salford, of course, but I don't think that'll keep Halifax at bay. And Widnes will look to be moving up the table. Well, what a debut for the loan signing Stephen Tyra. It was only tied up at the last minute, and they've justified the faith shown, or he's justified the faith shown. Tyra with 2 tries, he's with Rod now.
Steve, what a debut, what an impact. Just sum up your first 80 minutes in Widnes colours.
Unbelievable, you know, them lads out there, they put so much effort in today, it's fantastic. I know me and Matty have come down like during the week, but the real hard work came from the boys who were already here. Me and Matty just helped in hand. That was unbelievable.
You've had no preparation really, the deal was only done firstly today, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, I came down for half an hour on yesterday, came down for half an hour's training, that was it. We found out on Tuesday, so preparation weren't the best, but you know, I'm not here just to sit back and relax, I'm here to play rugby, and that's given me a really good start. That.
Yeah, and Matty Smith created the 2 tries as well, so the Saints connection worked perfectly.
Yeah, Matty's superb play, you know, that kick he put in was just like to a T. You know, he's the same as me, he's come down here, he's looking forward to it, and we're going to give it all in our 4 games.
Well done, Steve.
Cheers, Ron.
Let's just bring in the coach of Widnes, Steve McCormack. In fact, we won't be calling you the coach, Steve, the loan arranger, because the loan signings have worked a treat for you tonight.
Yeah, they have, and I'd like publicly to thank St Helens Club, you know, Daniel Anderson, Mike Rush and the board of directors for giving Matty Smith and, you know, Stephen the opportunity to come and play for Widnes. Made a massive impact for us, and, you know, obviously delighted with that, so a big thank you to them.
Just tell us what you said at half-time and how you didn't panic when you were 12 points behind.
Well, that was the main thing. I felt as though we had 3 clear-cut chances in the first half, and we did panic. And that allowed Salford back up their end of the field, and you know, they were very clinical in the first half. But we said at half-time, there's 40 minutes to win the game, not 5 or 10 minutes. Don't panic and get a little bit of composure. And you know, I thought Stephen Roper was fantastic when he came on, and you know, obviously delighted. It was a big win for us because last 3 weeks we haven't played well. But to get a win in front of, you know, this many supporters is fantastic.
And we know, Steve, that the announcement came this week. There'll be 14 teams in Super League next season. Does this match have added significance because Salford are a big rival for a licence?
No, I don't think so. I think you know, both bids are in. Both clubs are really good clubs, and you know, all we're bothered about is ourselves. We feel as though we've got a fantastic off-the-field bid. You know, we've got a lot of work to do on the field, but performances like this and the passion they've put in tonight, you know, I think we're going in the right direction.
Thanks, Steve. Well done.
Thank you.
So delighted Widnes Vikings coach Steve McCormack. It's been a tough few weeks for them, losing the last 3 games, but they're certainly back on track tonight, and what a way to get back on track with a result like that against the National League One leaders, the Salford City Reds, 20 points to 18.